What if I told you a billionaire pretended to sleep one night just to test the maid's little boy? But here's the real question. Why would a man with everything, money, power, security, be afraid of a child? Midnight. His mansion is silent. He keeps his eyes shut as the door creaks open. Tiny footsteps enter. The boy stands over him, watching, waiting, and then he does something so strange, so chilling, that the billionaire's heart nearly stops. What did the child do? Why? Was the billionaire testing him in the first place? And most importantly, what secret connects a billionaire, a maid, and a boy who should have been ordinary, but clearly isn't? The answer to these questions will shock you, because this night is only the beginning of a truth that money cannot hide, and a fear that no amount of wealth can protect him from. Stay with me, because once you hear what really happened, you'll never look at loyalty, trust, or even family the same way again. Before we begin this unbelievable story, take a second. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment about what you would do if you were in the billionaire's place. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to share your thoughts. The mansion was a world of its own. Marble floors that reflected the light like mirrors, chandeliers that sparkled even in the dark, and hallways so wide you could mistake them for hotel lobbies. It was the kind of house where silence was louder than sound. But that night, silence was broken by something small, something fragile, the sound of little feet. The billionaire, Mr. Jonathan Hale, kept his eyes shut, his breathing even. To anyone watching, he looked asleep. But his mind was alive, sharp, alert, counting each step as it echoed on the polished marble. He knew those footsteps. They didn't belong to a servant. They weren't heavy enough to be a guard. They weren't soft enough to be a maid. No, these were the hesitant, curious steps of a child, and not just any child. The maid's boy. Jonathan had noticed the boy for weeks. His quietness, his strange stares, the way he seemed to wander the mansion as if he belonged there. Jonathan hated it. This house wasn't meant for children, especially not children of staff, so he devised a plan. Tonight he would pretend to sleep and let the boy's true nature reveal itself. The door creaked open. The footsteps entered his massive bedroom. Jonathan's heart pounded, but he kept perfectly still. He expected the boy to peek in, maybe to whisper something, maybe even to leave quickly. But the boy didn't leave. The boy came closer. Jonathan could feel it, the warmth of his small presence, standing right beside the bed. He wanted so badly to open his eyes, but he didn't. He waited. And then it happened. The boy leaned close. For a moment, Jonathan could almost feel the child's breath on his face. Then the boy whispered something. Not words Jonathan could understand, but a kind of chant. Soft, repetitive, almost like a prayer. Or was it a curse? Jonathan's skin prickled. His heartbeat stumbled. What was this? The boy placed something on Jonathan's nightstand. A small, folded piece of paper. Then, just as silently as he came, he walked out. Jonathan waited until the door closed. Then, unable to resist, he opened his eyes. The paper sat there, innocent and ordinary, yet terrifying in its mystery. With trembling hands, Jonathan picked it up and unfolded it. Inside were drawings, strange, childlike sketches. One was of a tall man lying in bed, another of a boy standing over him. And then, at the corner of the page, something that made Jonathan's blood run cold, a figure drawn in black, with no face, standing behind them both. Jonathan's chest tightened. The drawings were crude, but the message was clear. This boy was watching him. He knew something. Something Jonathan didn't, and that faceless figure. Jonathan folded the paper quickly and shoved it back onto the nightstand, as though hiding it could erase what he had seen. But he couldn't erase the chill spreading through his body. The next morning, he confronted the maid. "Miriam," Jonathan said, his voice sharp, "your son was in my room last night. Explain yourself." The maid froze, her face pale. "Sir, he doesn't sleep well. Sometimes he walks. He's just a child." Jonathan narrowed his eyes. "Children don't leave drawings like that." Her lips trembled. She wanted to speak, but fear held her back. Finally, she whispered, "Please, sir, don't be angry with him. He means no harm." But Jonathan wasn't satisfied. His mind kept replaying the chant, the drawings, the faceless figure. That evening, he locked his bedroom door. But deep down, he knew locks wouldn't stop what was coming. The next night came too quickly. Jonathan told himself it was just a coincidence. Children draw strange things all the time. Maybe the boy was sleepwalking. Maybe he was imagining things. But why did it feel like something was watching him now? Something more than a child? At 2 a.m., Jonathan's eyes snapped open, not because of noise, but because of silence. An unnatural silence. And then, from the hallway, the sound. Footsteps. Again. Jonathan sat up this time, determined not to pretend anymore. "Who's there?" he barked. The footsteps paused, and then, slowly, the door creaked open, despite being locked. Jonathan's throat went dry. The boy stood there in the doorway, holding something in his hand. A small object. Jonathan tried to keep his composure. "Come here." The boy obeyed, walking slowly, eyes blank as if in a trance. He placed the object on Jonathan's bed. It was another drawing. This one was worse. It showed Jonathan in a coffin. Jonathan's hands shook as he grabbed the paper. "What is this?" he roared. The boy just looked at him, silent. And then, in the same soft whisper as before, he spoke words Jonathan couldn't understand. Foreign words. Suddenly, the chandelier above flickered. The lights dimmed. Jonathan jumped to his feet. "Enough! Stop this nonsense!" The boy blinked, and for the first time, emotion flashed across his face. Not fear, not sadness, but pity. "Why? Are you here?" Jonathan demanded. "What do you want from me?" The maid appeared at the door, pale and trembling. "Sir, please, stop shouting. He doesn't understand." Jonathan turned to her, his face red with fury. "You knew about this. You knew your son was whatever this is." Tears welled in her eyes. "He isn't like other children. He sees things. Things none of us can. He draws what's coming." Jonathan froze. "What do you mean? What's coming?" She hesitated. The faceless man. Jonathan's heart skipped. "What did you say?" "The one in his drawings. The one who follows you." Jonathan's legs weakened. He wanted to laugh to dismiss it, but deep down he knew she wasn't lying, because since last night he had felt it too. That presence, that shadow. The boy tugged on Jonathan's sleeve. Slowly he pointed to the window. Jonathan turned, and his blood ran cold. Outside in the moonlit garden stood a tall, dark figure. No face, no movement, just standing, watching. Jonathan stumbled back. "No, this isn't real. This can't be real." But the boy only whispered, "He's here for you.